I told him they didn't file any of my, he finally got me out after 14 days on personal recognizance. And the judge had refused, he had put an excessive bail on me. He was very hostile. It was horribly stressful. After I was out, the first thing I did was go to the courthouse, and I then tried to take all the kites that they hadn't filed when I was in jail, and I tried to file them when I was out of jail. And they still returned them to me and refused to file them. So I told my public defender happened to be in the court when I was trying to do this one time in the courthouse. And I ran into him and I said, I've just tried to file these things and they refused to file them. And he looked at me and he did almost this fake, he did this act. And he said, he didn't put his hands to his face and do one of these things. But it was almost like he did. I was basically looking back on it like he was just mocking me. And he said, they can't do that. He said, that's against the law. And I said, yes. And I said, and because you know you have a responsibility to report that, right? He didn't say one word. His face fell, and he looked at me like, he said not a word after that, and he just walked away. He never reported that incident. That was a felony. He didn't report it to anybody, because then then the next thing that happened is that my own public defender was trying to collude against me and trying to bribe me into taking a plea bargain when he knew I was innocent and I had evidence to prove my innocence. So then all of a sudden, they're trying to rack me up with my own public defender. I had given him my whole story. I sat down in his offices and I told him this is the evidence I have and this is what they don't have. They don't have anything. Any normal lawyer could have looked at that and seen that my case was very sound. I would have won in a heartbeat on trial. There were no grounds for a plea bargain. The fact that he even tried to talk to a prosecuting attorney about a plea bargain is sort of a sign of corruption, because they had no reasonable grounds for even suggesting such a thing. And I believe the person that he was negotiating with was Miller. And I believe Miller is connected to Mike Tanzer, who I had just reported to the FBI as one of the individuals that I've made a mention of. So here's Miller, the prosecuting attorney, trying to get me on something criminal after his buddy, the family friends, want something to be done about me. And the Millers in Wenatchee go back a long ways. They were like a historic family to Wenatchee. They've been there for decades. And Mike Tanzer's mother's family is from Wenatchee. She was raised in Wenatchee, and then they moved to California. And it's the Sterling family. So the Millers and the Sterlings knew each other. And here we have the Millers trying to, it's not Millers, it's Miller, trying to convince and bribe my public defender to give me a criminal record. You know, this is coming from the Russian Jewish family that, of course, has nothing to do with maybe Josh Gatov and some of the other people who raped me in Oregon, who happen to be connected to the Middletons. When you start following the line, it comes down to it. Some of these Jewish people, they knew the Rabbi Rose and everything. They all knew, and the Rain Rose. They knew the people in England who were Middletons, and the Bechtolds knew the Middletons. So basically, I had this lawyer trying to convince me to take this plea bargain, which would have made me look bad, and I said, no, I want to go to trial. Then all of a sudden, the head of the public defense office at that time, he showed up in court for the next hearing, and the hearing was before Judge Alicia Nakata, and all of a sudden, I'm sitting there And he comes and sits next to me in the hearing. Like, the judge has already started talking to people. So she's already commencing business, and people are already going before her to discuss their case. So while this business is going on in the courthouse, and I'm sitting in one of the pews in this courthouse, who comes and sits next to me but the head of the entire public defense office for Wenatchee, for Chelan Douglas County. It's the head of the public defense office. He sat down next to me and he said, "If you don't take the plea bargain, we're going to trial tomorrow." And he said that as a threat because he already knew that I knew I had a right to character witnesses and to collect the evidence that I told them cleared me, which they already knew because they had checked on it. It cleared me. And not to mention the fact that they had nothing to use against me. They didn't even have witness statements. All they had was a police statement. You can't even put someone in jail for that. Like, I was falsely arrested. They were not, they had no grounds to even arrest me to begin with. So already I had cause to sue them for false arrest. So they wanted to make me look like I really had done something bad and wanted to have me do this plea bargain. And this guy sat down next to me and he said, "We'll go to trial the very next day." And I knew it was a threat. I knew that he knew I knew, because if we had gone to trial the very next day, I would lose because I didn't have my witnesses and they hadn't lined anything up like I asked them to. I mean, sure, if we go to trial in an hour, who's going to win? Your word against my word? Or the prosecuting attorney's word against my word, and I don't have any of my evidence yet, my discovery that I've been telling you to get for a while. So when he made that threat to me and tried to pressure me to take this plea bargain right there in court, when the judge then brought my case to attention, when my attorney was supposed to be representing me, I said, "Your Honor, I'd like to speak for myself on this because I just had this head of the public defense department tell me that if I don't take their plea bargain, they're going to trial tomorrow. And I don't have any of the discovery. I've told them that will clear me of this charge, and I also don't have the character witnesses." So I basically shut them down right then and there publicly on the record. I was freaked out at that point. I was totally incredulous. I'm like, if I don't get this on the record now about what my own public defenders are trying to do to me, who knows what will happen. And what they were telling me is that if I didn't take this plea bargain and they took it to trial the next day, if I lost, I was going to go to jail for a year. This is crazy. This is why they want to say that I'm crazy. They are crazy, crazy corrupt. And so when the judge heard that, and when it was clearly like on the public record, I asked for a continuance of 1 month in order to get the information I need. So then she gave a continuance of 1 month based on my statements. After that, then all the public defenders hated me, and my own attorney didn't like me very much, and they were forced to draw. I refused to back down on it. I started having more migraines. I was assaulted with migraines again. I thought that maybe it was stress because I was stressed out at the time, but I realized I don't get migraines from stress. It was military assault. It was a federal assault. So I was pregnant, and while they were trying to get me to take their plea bargain, they assaulted me. And after I refused to take the plea bargain, then the prosecuting attorney was forced to drop it because they had nothing. And they didn't even want to tell me. My own public defender didn't want to tell me how pointless the entire case had been. So they dropped the whole thing, and then there I was pregnant. And the very next thing that I did was try to get FOIA from the FBI, because I knew that could not have happened unless the FBI was somehow involved in defaming me or something. And And actually, if Mike Tanzer is connected to the FBI, as these prosecuting attorneys kind of went after me may have been, then yeah, there were a lot of people who were wanting to get something on me. So I'm going to leave it here for now. Might do another clip. It's just now it's afternoon. It's like 12:30 at the moment, and I will probably make another clip later tonight and try to pick up from where this was. But that's what I have right now. My throat's feeling a bit dry. I need to get a drink. So I think the next thing that I will be talking about is then what occurred during my pregnancy, what I was trying to do in getting information from the FBI, the contact that I made with Portland police about crimes committed by the FBI, the harassment that began by the police locally, and other things that were getting set up to work against me. Hopefully I can get through that today, and I would really like to also get all the way through to the point of my delivery of my son, if possible. And a lot of things did happen, so I don't know if I can do all of that today, but I will do my best. Thanks for your time. Oh, I guess, really quick, I guess the other thing that I should mention before I bring this post to a close is that before I was arrested myself, when I first showed up when I was stuck in the Wenatchee area, because I still had this class in juvenile justice, I had an interest in the justice system, and I went, because I was interested in how prisoners were being treated and how their public defense was, I went to the Chelan County jail, and I got the Chelan County jail people, the guards, and the head of the guard, his name was Gail something or other, Gail Wick, maybe. He hated me. I gave a prisoner a book on civil rights because I found out their lawyer wasn't helping them at all. The lawyer that he was saying wasn't helping him was Paul Castle. And I basically I visited a couple of the prisoners there. It was mainly because one of my cousin's friends I found out was in jail, and then I met him, and then I met some other guy who just said he wanted to meet me because he wanted to talk about his case, I think is what it was, and he thought maybe I could help in some way. So I did try to help. I tried to help on just a normal humanitarian level of, these prisoners have rights, just they are citizens. They have not been stripped of their citizenship, and they have rights like everyone in the United States, and if they're not getting the kind of public defense that they deserve, then they have a right to look up some books and see for themselves what the laws are. So when I made contact with those people, I think that because Robin Bechtold's brother was a guard, and these systems are connected between Oregon and Washington, I think that was already working against me, and I don't think that they liked the idea that I was helping, or that I might be looking into what was happening with the justice system in Wenatchee. So before I was even, and my I'm not sure when my license was suspended, if I first visited these guys and then my license was illegally suspended, or if that happened after, or if I visited them afterwards. But at any rate, I had a lot of people that didn't like me, that had an incentive, they wanted to punish me in some way. So then all of a sudden, when I was in the jail as a charged person after I'd been helping these other guys. They treated me horribly. And then it got even worse because that was not the first time that they threw me into jail to cover up for somebody or to get me out of the way. These people have been locking me up on false arrests simply to remove me from the picture when they are afraid that I might be about to expose evidence.